Hi, and welcome to the first lesson in our guitar lesson series. In this lesson, we'll have a look at some basic guitar vocabulary. We'll start with an anatomy of the guitar. This part here is known as the headstock. These little screws on the headstock are the tuning knobs. They are used to tighten or loosen strings. For example, like this. We'll learn more about the tuning knobs later in the lesson on tuning. For now, it's a good idea not to touch these at all because tightening the strings too much can break them. This part is known as the neck. The front part of the neck, the part showing right now in the camera, is known as the fretboard. This entire portion is known as the body of the guitar. And finally, the part where the strings meet the body is known as the bridge. Now let's have a little closer look at the fretboard. In addition to the strings running along the fretboard, we see many small metal bars running across the fretboard. These metal bars are known as frets. The nut is located just where the fretboard starts. All strings pass through the nut.
Let's do a little recap of the guitar parts we have learned so far. First up, the headstock, on it the tuning knobs. Just below is the nut, then the neck, the front part of which is the fretboard, the body, and finally the bridge.
There are a total of 6 strings on the guitar. The topmost string, which is the thickest one, is called E, or the 6th string. This one is A, or the 5th string. This is D, or the 4th string. This is G, or the 3rd string. This is B, or the 2nd string. And finally the thinnest string, which is E, or the 1st string. You must have noticed that the 1st and 6th strings are both called E. Undoubtedly this is pretty odd. We'll get to why they are named so later, but to resolve the ambiguity, we refer to the topmost string as E low and the bottom string as E high. Low because the 6th string is low pitched, and high because the 1st string is high pitched. The names of the strings are E, A, D, G, B, E. This is not easy to remember, so here's a neat mnemonic that can help us memorize these names. Eddie, 8, dynamite, good, bye, Eddie. Now let's proceed to producing some sounds from the guitar. Sound is produced by plucking strings. For example, try plucking some strings on your guitar using your right hand finger or thumb, like this. Or using your thumb. Next, we'll try to fret a string and pluck. Fretting a string means to press down a string just before a fret using the tip of your finger. For example, I'll now fret the 2nd string on the 2nd fret. Watch. I am pressing the 2nd string just before the 2nd fret with the tip of my finger. Pressing it just before the fret is important. This is wrong, for example. This is also wrong because this is just not before the fret. This is the correct way to fret a string. Now let's pluck the 2nd string. Let's also try this on another fret. For example, this is the 2nd string on the 4th fret. Hear how the same string produces different sounds on different frets. It will be difficult for you if you're doing this for the first time. You will find that fretting strings is very stressful on the fingers. This will get better with time and your fingertips will harden up. Within days, fretting will be a breeze. A word of warning though, when your fingers start hurting too much, stop. Take a break and come back. Trying to push your fingers beyond their limits can leave you with bleeding fingers, and we don't want that. So, try experimenting with different frets and strings, listen to the sounds they produce, and make your fingers develop some strength. This is it for Guitar Vocabulary. Thank you for watching.